Shout out to everybody that is involved with our manifestation group coaching, specifically around manifesting a specific person, because all of you guys are killing it. But most importantly, you guys are trying to manifest these things the right way. The movement that all of you are getting would be insane to most people. However, to Tim and I, it is not insane. It is not far-fetched, the type of movement that you guys are getting. You see, I most recently read a comment left on one of my videos that reads as follows. Exactly, Marvelous Code, an all new age of manifestations books are totally blind for the moral and pure approach. Any more book recommendations, please? You see, this comment is spot on because this is exactly what's going on in the manifestation community. Nobody cares about morals anymore. Nobody cares about being pure with their approach. All people care about is they want results, and they want results overnight. They want results when they want results. And then we wonder why we really can't manifest things and keep things when we do manifest them. What this comment just illustrated to me, in my opinion, is the exact reason why so many people are getting results from working with Tim and myself only after working with us for a month, maybe a little bit longer, is because Tim and I are taking this approach to where we are including your morals. We are including that pure approach to manifestation, the pure approach that someone like a Florence Scovel Shinn talks about in her teachings. Because as you guys might have heard me say in my videos, Florence Scovel Shinn, to me, I much rather prefer her teachings than over somebody like a Neville Goddard. And that's simply because Neville Goddard does a great job at telling you what technique to do, but Neville Goddard doesn't do a great job at telling you how to navigate the 3D the way of Florence Scovel Shinn was able to do in her books. You see, the truth is, a lot of people in this community, they are so obsessed with getting an ex back or getting a specific person back or manifesting somebody new that they will go to extreme measures. They will use this as a way of manipulation. They think they can manipulate somebody's free will into getting them to fall in love. You see these YouTube videos that say, get them obsessed with you. I got a question for y'all. Those YouTube videos that you see that say get them obsessed with you, what kind of energy do you think that's coming from? Why would you watch a YouTube video that says get them obsessed with you, make them fall madly in love with you? That type of stuff, in my opinion, those videos are videos that are coming from lack. So if you're going to listen to that stuff and follow that advice, a lot of times, in my opinion, not all the times, because we know there are anomalies. Some people can maybe watch that stuff and get away with it. But in my opinion, from what I've seen and working with people, far too often that advice does not work. You listen to those videos that say get them obsessed with you, you are already approaching this from a position of lack. Because if you were with your specific person already, you would not be watching a video saying get them obsessed with you, make them fall madly in love with you again. So right off the bat, you are in a vibrational state of lack. You are in a vibrational state of not having. And a lot of times those videos do the exact opposite of what they are supposed to do, because the law of reverse effort kicks in and you see evidence of what you don't want instead of seeing evidence of what you do want. But you think you are going to see what you want because you're watching a video that is putting repetition in your head of get them obsessed with you, get them obsessed with you. But to me, that is coming from a position of lack, because if I was in a relationship with somebody, there would be no need for me to say those types of affirmations, just to constantly think to myself, oh, they're obsessed with me. Oh, they're madly in love with me. And whether some of you guys want to realize it or not, or admit it or not, you guys are trying to use these teachings to somehow manipulate the 3D, to somehow manipulate your person to fall madly in love with you. And a lot of you guys try to act like you don't, because you hear these YouTubers use things like quantum jumping, and you hear all of this regurgitated information where people say,
oh, there's multiple realities. It's not manipulation because you're choosing a reality. You're choosing the SP in that reality that chooses you. So it's not really manipulation. You're just aligning yourself with that version of them and that version of you, blah, 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 blah.
The truth of the matter is when it comes to quantum jumping and when it comes to people saying, oh, there's multiple realities of all of us and this and that, most people really truly don't understand how that stuff works. And they just regurgitate information that they might have heard from a YouTuber, or they might have heard from somebody that wrote something in a book. So they really truly don't understand this whole idea of there are multiple realities. So you have to choose the reality of your person choosing you, and then that's how they're going to come back. So it's not really manipulation. And they just think of every excuse in the book to not look at it like it's manipulation, when in fact you are very willingly trying to use and force your will upon another person to get them to fall madly in love with you. And in my opinion, that's not the way to go about getting a specific person. Me personally, because I'm not so hell-bent on making myself look like this flawless guru like so many other people try to do in this community, like they know more than the average person, I've never subscribed to this whole idea of, oh, there's a bunch of realities and this and that and all of this esoteric language. I mean, I get it. It has its place. But me personally, I try to look at these things more sober-minded and from a perspective of how it's really going to happen in this 3D. I'm not even going to pretend to know all the ins and outs of how quantum jumping works and how all of these multiple realities, however many realities there are out there in the universe, because apparently there's infinite, or whatever these guys are teaching. I'm not even going to pretend to know exactly 100% of what they're talking about, or even know how this stuff works and how the scientists came up with that and this and that. I'm not even going to pretend to know all of that because, like I said, I'm not some guru. However, what I will say is, in this 3D world that we live in, I will say that I believe manifesting a new reality or shifting realities is purely based off of making a certain decision that's going to put you on a path to a new reality. So what has been happening with a lot of you guys out there manifesting a specific person, new or old, or manifesting anything in your life, is you guys have been religiously manifesting the same thing over and over and over again. Meaning that you guys have been making decisions the same way that you have always been making decisions, which means you're going to get the same outcomes. As they say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you don't want to get the same result that you have been getting, then what you need to do is you need to make a new decision, go down a new path. And inevitably what ends up happening is when you make new decisions in the 3D, that forces you to go down a new path, which ultimately then forces you to align in a different reality. From a 3D perspective, that's how I see this multiple realities type of stuff, because I can continue to make decisions that are going to end up keeping me poor. So if there is a poor Marvin out there, guess what? I can make and have those thought patterns, those thought process, that frequency of being poor, so I can keep thinking that way and I can keep reacting that way. And that is going to lead me down the path of being poor. If there is a middle class Marvin out there, then that means that in this 3D realm, if I keep thinking a certain way, thinking like a middle class person, acting like a middle class person, being a middle class person, then that is the path that I'm on. But if I don't want to be that reality of Marvin, then now I have to think of a new reality. If I want to be a rich Marvin, if I want to be a super rich Marvin, you know, mega rich Marvin, then simply what that's going to take is that's going to take me changing my thought patterns. That's going to make me changing my attitude, make me changing my behaviors, make me changing the decisions that I make. I'm going to have to start making decisions as a mega rich multi-millionaire or multi-billionaire would make, if that's the path that I want to go down. If I want to shift to that reality, then I have to start thinking and acting that way. If I want to have the love of my life, if I want to get an ex back, whatever, I have to shift my reality and I have to start thinking, acting, and speaking in order to attract whoever that new person is. That's how I see it to work in this 3D. I don't use all that esoteric bullshit that people say,
oh, there's infinite realities and you got to quantum jump to this and quantum jump to that.
Because in my mind, all of this stuff is taking place in your head. When people talk about quantum jumping, you're doing it in your head. You're not actually physically leaving this reality and going to another reality. You're all of this stuff is happening in your mind. Even when people have those lucid dreams and all of that type of stuff is happening in your mind. You're actually not physically taking this body and shifting it into another world. No, you're not doing it that way. But so many people, like I said, they like to try to talk and act like they're the smartest person in the room and act like they understand all of this stuff. I'm willingly open to admit I do not understand how most of these people, even the professionals, how they explain quantum jumping, quantum physics, all this type of stuff. I've read a lot of books. It makes no sense to me. I'm not saying that to say that I don't necessarily think it's all bullshit, because I do think that it has its place, but I'm just willing to say, as a real authentic coach, I'm willing to say that most people, even your favorite coaches, even people that have 1 million subs, 500,000 subs, whatever the number is, a lot of these guys will not come on here and admit to you they don't understand this shit fully, because they really don't. They're just regurgitating shit. But let me digress. What I really want to get into is this comment that somebody left on one of my videos that reads as follows. So many stories like this, especially with the SP subject. Someone I knew tried to manifest her ex for 2 years, even while their relationship ended because of the crappy treatment she gave her ex, and she refused to acknowledge it, let alone apologize to the guy. If I contact him, then it wouldn't be manifestation, and he has to come back and beg me, she said. In my case, it drove me to depression and anxiety, and all the advice people gave was persist, even at the cost of my mental health. That really turns me off from the community. Did you hear what she just said?
If I contact him, then it wouldn't be manifestation. And he has to come back and beg me. There.
This is the exact lunacy that is in this community. People have no idea exactly what manifestation really is. The fact that people think that lifting a finger or taking some sort of action means that it's not manifestation is a travesty to me. And this is exactly why this person that said this comment is probably not getting their person back. And this is exactly why many of you, whoever watching this video, are probably not getting your person back, because you think that taking action means that it's not manifestation. So to all the Neville Goddard junkies out there who have Neville Goddard's cock in your mouth, did Neville Goddard not write books? Did Neville Goddard not show up to lectures? Did Neville Goddard not meet with people one-on-one? Is that not taking action? This just even further proves the point that so many people have gotten lazy with manifestation and don't really understand the concept of manifestation because of the very fact that they think they don't have to take any action and moving a finger. And if I reach out to him first and do something to him first or her first, then that means that it's not manifesting, that's me taking action. This is exactly why many of you will continue to go month after month, year after year without seeing any potential results, in my opinion, is because you're sitting back waiting to play the game instead of bringing the game to you. And of course, this is nuanced, but this is exactly what Tim and I really specialize in, helping people, and why so many people in our manifestation group, whether you're trying to manifest the SP or something else, this is why so many people in our group are getting action, because Tim and I are looking at the blind spots and saying, wait a second, you shouldn't be sitting here trying to just manifest this person to come back. What did you do? Oh, maybe you should take the first move. Maybe you should send that letter or write that note, and then wait for the rest to happen after that. And I'm not saying that it hasn't happened before in life or in history, but why would somebody beg for you back after you treated them like complete shit in whatever regards during the relationship? It's situations like this where you can blatantly see the narcissism behind people who are applying these manifestation techniques. The very fact that they think, oh, I can treat you like shit and you're still supposed to beg to come back to me after I treated you like shit. Again, people have no concept of how to really truly apply these principles, and they are so brainwashed. And I don't even know how old this person is, but I wouldn't be surprised if this person was young. If this person is older, I would be extremely shocked if this person is older that left that kind of comment, because this sounds like the thinking of somebody who is much younger. Maybe they're teens, maybe they're early 20s, something like that. I mean, your own friend even said that you treated him like crap. Those were her words. It's comments like these why I really despise the manifestation community, and why I really despise some of the messaging and some of the messaging that the coaches say. Because some of you coaches mean well, but you have no idea how toxic your message is really coming off, especially to people who are extremely desperate. You see, it's situations like this where this person needs to 100% do self-concept work, and 100% needs to come up with a way to reach back out to this person and apologize for whatever turmoil that they might have put their specific person through, instead of sitting around waiting for them to beg to come back to you after you treated them like shit. And like I said, I know this works because of personal experience in my life, but also not just my personal experience, but what everybody is going through in our group coaching or in our one-on-one coaching if they choose to work with us one-on-one. So many people are getting movement. Do you know why? It's not because they're sitting in sats every night. It's not because that they're doing affirmations every day. They're getting movement because Tim and I really look at what they're going through. We look at their history and we're really assessing what steps they need to take. And then from there, we will tell them, hey, look, in this area, you probably do need to take action. You spent way too much time waiting and expecting something that's not gonna happen most likely, because you were the one that's really in control of this situation. You need to take action. You need to make the first move. And guess what? So many people are getting movement in this group that we're in. People that have not heard from their SP in months, I'm talking about 6 months, maybe even longer, have had movement. People at their jobs that are looking to maybe get an increase or maybe get a different position are seeing crazy movement, all because they're taking action, because they're communicating, because they're doing these things in the 3D that most coaches would tell you, no, you don't have to do that. All you have to do is just live in sats. Well, guess what? Trying to do sats just cost you 6 months of your life. Trying to do sats just caused you 1 year of potentially not having your specific person because you're too arrogant, you're too much in your ego, and you think, oh, I don't have to reach out to them. They need to reach out to me, because if I reach out to them, then that's not manifestation. Wrong. I say all that to say, this just goes to show how imperative it is to actually have a coach, somebody that actually knows what to do and can get you moving in the right direction and knows when you should be taking action and when you should be sitting still. Because just those two things alone are skills that you need to apply when you are in this manifestation stuff in the middle of whatever that you're in the middle of. The hard truth that a lot of people have to face is the fact that a lot of you should be taking movement that are not taking movement. That's the bottom line, point blank, period, end of story, no discussion statement that I want to make to y'all. Stop waiting and potentially start taking action. Now, of course, this is easier said than done because, as you know, Tim and I always say this stuff is nuanced. But for a lot of you, it can be as easy as maybe humbling yourself and apologizing and just sending that message or doing whatever it is that you need to do. And then from there, you have to let the chips fall where they fall. If you are somebody that's out there and you know you treated your specific person like shit, or you know you treated somebody in your family like shit, and you were running around all day affirming they're obsessed with me, they are madly in love with me, they reach out to me, they text me, they're the ones that forgave me, you are sadly mistaken and you are misguided in my opinion. And you are your biggest problem. And whoever's advice you've been taking on YouTube or wherever, you need to throw that coach away and stop listening to them ASAP, because they are most likely, along with yourself, the very reason why you have not manifested your SP back.